Tim Malone with the Stephen Cohen team at Corcoran, here with Sarah Kraft in her newly purchased apartment to talk about her experience. Sarah, how's it going?
Hey Tim, welcome to my new home.
So we know you've lived on the Upper West Side for quite a bit. What made you move?
Well, I think we had really outgrown the space that we were in, and we actually had lived together before we got married, and we lived in Paul's apartment, we lived in my apartment, then we lived in an apartment, but we didn't really have a place that both of us sort of bought into, not even literally. I mean, we really wanted a place that was kind of had things for both of us. He had a list, I had a list. My list came to a full realization. Paul got like nothing, but I mean, it's fine.
Okay, great. So you guys were renting in your last apartment. Obviously, you bought this apartment. Can you kind of talk about the experience of renting versus buying and what made you want to buy?
Yeah, I mean, we really thought about, and again, your team was super helpful in really talking us through what we would need in 5 or 7 years. And not thinking about, I mean, when you're renting, you're looking for someplace right now, maybe someplace close to a Subway, an express stop if you can get it, you know, near a grocery store or whatever's important to you. And then buying, you're looking at different things. Is it an up and coming neighborhood? Is there room to grow? Will it be able to be something that you can resell at a better price? Is it a good investment? Those sorts of things.
All right, so we know you looked at a lot of apartments before purchasing this exact one. Can you kind of talk about the experience of looking at all the different apartments?
Sure. I mean, we looked at a lot of apartments in the West 70s, which is where I had lived for years and I owned 3 apartments in that on West 73rd Street. So we had seen a lot in that neighborhood, and you guys really did a nice job of showing us what we could get on, let's say, West 71st Street versus in the Bloomingdale neighborhood. And then specifically, I mean, we were really lucky because, again, you showed us not just apartments in the neighborhood, but you showed us 2 comparable apartments on this actual block, which was really helpful because it was about, what was it, 100 or 150,000? Yeah. $150,000 difference, and this space was like, right? I mean, it was literally not even comparable.
Right. What were some of the must-haves in your new apartment?
I really wanted light. I didn't really understand. I kept saying I wanted a sun-filled apartment, but really after we saw a bunch, what we really realized was that I really wanted tall ceilings and something that would feel big. And this apartment feels 10 times bigger than it is because of the 13-foot ceilings, and that's amazing. I also was really in need of a washer and dryer. After 20 years of hauling laundry up and down New York City buildings and washing my clothes with other people, I really wanted to have totally make it a one-person job.
Nice.
I mean, we also we weren't thinking we'd get a second bathroom and a second full bathroom, so that was like a major bonus.
So you each have one?
Yeah, no, it's completely divided. I'm like, see you later.
So I remember you were throwing elbows at the first open house to get in here.
Totally.
Can you kind of talk to us about how you felt when you first walked in?
Well, it's funny because we weren't, I mean, if you remember, we weren't even really looking in this neighborhood. And this was also above our price range, but I thought, why not? Because it had the washer dryer. But, I mean, there were 33 different groups of people at that open house. I know because I stayed through the whole thing. But that was a lot, and it was actually super overwhelming, and it made me think, like, maybe this isn't even possible because it had so much interest.
Yep.
But everything else about it was perfect. I mean, you walked through, and you just felt like, okay, I can take a deep breath here. There's enough room. There's space for everything we'd want to do here. It's perfect.
So you've talked about how this apartment was a little bit beyond the budget that you guys wanted to spend. I think we remember there was a lot of interest in this apartment. Can you kind of talk about how you felt during the negotiating process?
We went to see it on a Sunday, and I called my husband to come up and see it. And then we were on the phone with you and Steven, that night trying to figure out what we would offer, what it would look like. And you guys reminded us that it was actually priced pretty well. And so we kind of took it from there. My husband wanted to go in a little bit lower, which we ended up doing. Not a smart move, but I mean, Steven walked us through along with you and really set expectations saying you can offer this, but the apartment's really going to sell for that. Right. And so I think that really helped level set us and know that you can do that, but in reality, you're going to end up paying X for it, which we did, and we were okay with it, almost because you kind of set those expectations for us.
Great. So on the Stephen Cohen team, we pride ourselves with seamlessly bringing our clients through the search process, through the negotiating, through the application process and the closing process. We have a great team in place. Can you kind of talk about how you worked with all of our team members?
Oh, totally. I mean, I felt like it did feel seamless. I mean, the amounts of times I had questions and you were super available via text, probably more than you wanted to be, but it was really helpful for us. And Lindsay helped us through the entire application process. I mean, there was even a point where you couldn't fill out part of the application online, and she's like, that's okay, I'll take care of it. And when we actually went for our board interview, the woman literally said, your application is exquisite. And it was because Lindsay really wrapped it up with a bow and pushed it out the door.
Great. So we just talked about the application process. This building's obviously a co-op. Can you kind of discuss what it was like to go through the co-op process? Because we know everyone talks a lot about co-ops.
No, it can be totally overwhelming. And I think it starts with the board package. And I think that's what actually makes people feel overwhelmed, because you get the list of things you need to provide and you're like, holy, it's huge. So, I mean, having Lindsay help put that together, and then you and Steven walked us through what it would look like, what it would feel like, who we would talk to. And in fact, I mean, you guys got on the phone with us the morning of the interview, and really Steven's last words were, nobody's been refused from a board for being too boring.
Don't be the first.
Don't be the first. No, so, I mean, I tend to talk too much, and he would like zip it up and be professional. Not even more so than you'd be at a job interview. And it was good advice.
Perfect. Place looks amazing, Sarah. Now that you're all settled, comfortable, and everything's fully decorated, the throw that we gave you from the team is...
Yeah, it's right over there.
Right over there on the chair. I think it's time to look for a 3-bedroom, so...
We're actually looking out east so we can spend the weekends with you and Steven.
Great.
We'd like to be just a little closer because we feel like the weekends are kind of lost to us.
Perfect. Sarah, thanks so much for having us in your beautiful home. We really appreciate it.
Oh my God, thank you so much for finding us our home. We love it, and we would have never ended up here without you.
Thank you. So that's it, guys. I'm Tim Malone with the Stephen Cohen team at Corcoran. If you guys have any questions or comments, please be in touch. Thank you, Sarah.
Cheers.